So the first question is, how can you prove the existence of God?
We see that if somebody comes to this world and they claim anything, it could be the most absurd thing ever, you might say that this person's claim, he's saying it because he's a madman, it might be a coincidence. And then another person in a completely separate time, in a completely separate place in the world, comes and claims exactly the same thing. You might say it's still a coincidence that two people have come and they've claimed the same thing.
Thousands of prophets have appeared in the past who make the same claim, and these prophets only become so renowned in the world is because so many people find so much trustworthiness, sincerity, truthfulness in them, and take them as role models.
But if 124,000 people come in different times, different places, different ages, without any contact to one another, there were no phones, there was no social media, but they all claim the same thing, and that is believe in one God, and that we are sent by God, and that He exists, and that He is worthy of worship, I don't think that's a coincidence.
You want to see, actually, with your own eyes, how does God exist? I mean, does He exist? What's the proof that we can see with our own eyes?
Once you've personally experienced God or spirituality or anything along those lines, it's impossible to deny the existence of God because you've seen it, you've felt it. How can you deny it?
There's so many things that we don't see, but we know that they do exist. There's like air, we can't see it physically, but we know that, life, emotions, they're all present, and we believe in them that yes, they do exist. But there's no physical, means to it. You can't touch it, you can't, you can only sense it.
Yeah.
For someone to make a human being, they actually can't do it.
There you go.
They can put the organs together, they can put the limbs together, but to actually give that human being life, nobody has the capacity to do so.
For example, we're here sitting on these chairs. It's impossible for us to believe that these chairs just formed by themselves. The metal got into place and the plastic came over and the leather and it became a chair. And we don't believe that, do we? Same thing goes with the world. And it is so perfect that it could not have been created, it could not have been an accident.
The Holy Quran actually mentions this, that even if people came together with all their effort and they tried to even create a mosquito or a fly, they wouldn't be able to do it.
We see that there was a person during battle who came to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. He was severely injured. They thought that he will pass away at any time. And we see that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, makes a prayer. And miraculously, that individual goes back to the battlefield because he has been resuscitated by the prayers of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him.
I remember clearly, I think I was in the 5th year of Jamia and one of my exams didn't go well at all. And before finishing the exam, in fact, I remember I counted my maximum possible marks that I could have gotten, and it was below the passing mark. So I came out of the exam, and a few days later, I had mulaqat with Hazur. So His Holiness said that Allah Ta'ala fazl karega, meaning that Allah Ta'ala will show His grace. And I remember when the results came, I didn't just scrape the exam with grace marks or anything. It was a clear margin that I passed with, and that was clearly just with the prayer of His Holiness.
And Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa, may Allah have mercy on him, actually had a debate with an atheist or someone who was a bit skeptical about the belief of God. The other debater asks Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa, why did you turn up late to this debate? And he says, let me explain for a moment what happened on the journey. I was going on the way, and on the journey I had to actually cross a river. In the moment of this, he saw a tree literally fall into the river and shape itself into a boat. He climbed into the boat and crossed the river, and this is how he has now presented himself in front of the debate today. Of course, the other debater was humorously laughing at this.
He was an atheist.
Yeah, he wasn't believing this, right?
No.
He's like, how on earth can a tree suddenly just turn into a boat and you're here in front of me like that? And Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa stopped him right there and said, well, that's the point, isn't it? You can't even believe that a tree can shape itself and craft itself into a boat all by itself, but here you are trying to prove to me that the world can do the same thing.